I grew up in a Christian family, but I developed many false views of God. I learned shame, anger, bitterness, and unforgiveness. Through most of my childhood and early adult years, I grew more bitter, fearful, and unforgiving of others and myself. I began to experiment with partying and drug use. Over time, this manifested into full-blown addictions and being given over to all manner of sin. After numerous years of living an up and down lifestyle, I decided to try to start over by moving to Austin, Texas. I began to use hard drugs like meth and virtually anything else I could acquire. Eventually, due to slipping performance, I lost my job as a supervisor in a factory. In that season, I started associating with lower quality people and making worse decisions. As a result, I had my room broken into and raided by the FBI and police department. I had my apartment invaded and was held at gunpoint straight to my temple in an attempt to steal my drugs multiple times. I was involved in burglarizing, scamming, selling drugs, shoplifting, breaking into vehicles, and witchcraft. I was working very hard not to work and was using all the money I gained on drugs and gambling. I became homeless in 2020. The Lord had not forgotten me. One day, I received a message from a stranger, which can be summarized as, "You need to get right with the Lord now." Little did I know, this was an answer to one of my mom's many prayers for me. I had lost all sense of identity of who my father was. Philippians 1:6 says, "I am convinced of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will perfect and complete that work until the day of Christ Jesus." He was and is determined to do that and still saw a future for me. I had stopped talking to my parents for a good while, so my dad and a good friend had come down and looked for me. God continued to let me run until I finally ran out of steam, close to a tragic end. I told the Lord I wanted to live in freedom and asked for his help. I tried to put conditions on that help, including not going to jail again and not going through another program, but he disregarded them. An hour later that same day, I was arrested and treated medically, and 3 months later, I was at a Christian recovery ministry. The Lord has been faithful through all of it, even when I wasn't. Even when I was trying to establish my steps, he's been guiding me. He is in the business of redemption, taking and cleaning our mess and repurposing it for his glory. In the last few years at the Christian recovery ministry, I've had many heart wounds opened up and healed by the love of Jesus, and have been taught innumerable lessons by him. One lesson is that many of our weaknesses are where God is free to shine the brightest and use us the most. One never does know how he or she will be used, and many times is not even conscious of it while it's happening. So don't give up. With obedience and surrender, he will do great things despite all our failures and insecurities. By his grace, I am forgiven, set free, and have had my sanity restored. I've also gained a love for the Word and for time with him. For that, I'm forever grateful and wish to serve him and walk with him for the rest of my life. I'm also extremely grateful to Fuego Church for the role that it, all the staff, and many of you have played in providing me with a church family to grow into. I've never felt so much like I belong like I have here. I'm grateful for being accepted as a member of your family. This is the first church I've been involved in since going through the recovery ministry. The love and direction I've experienced here has helped me immensely with my view of church, to mature in my faith, and to get reintegrated into society. It's the first church I've been connected to in over 15 years, and the first one I've ever personally chosen that's made me feel this much at home. Fuego Church goes out of its way to exude the love of Jesus to everyone and make disciples who disciple others. I also want to take a minute to say, if there's anybody out there who's struggling, like you've got an addiction, a life-controlling issue, a problem, you know you can't get past it. Humble yourself and get help. Don't fear it. The Lord, your real Father in heaven, the one who's supposed to be your real Father, He's waiting for you. He wants His son and daughter back, and that's even if it's for the first time in your life you've never done it before. He hears every cry. He hears every whimper of your heart. You make the call, He will come running. He will put the cloak around you. Just don't fear whatever help He sends. It might not look how you think it should look. Whatever He's got for you is good. It's merciful. And it